What's going on, everybody? We're back today with another tier list ranking video. A little different this time. We're going to do something kind of quick, easy, and a little more fun, I think, than we usually do. Not quite as serious, although I'm sure we'll get into it. But today we're going to be ranking every single series that I have ever made. There's probably a couple that are going to get thrown down in the D tier for not being finished or other various reasons. But I think I've got some pretty good series that I've done. This is pretty much everything back to like the reinvention portion of my channel. It should have started with Darksiders 3 and Leaf Green. If you watched any of those series, they were kind of like the originals that kind of got me kickstarted before we switched to the new layout and the series format and all that good stuff. Those are the things I was playing back when I just did one game at a time, didn't have all four going on. Have a couple of the stream titles in here as well that made their way up to YouTube. So without further ado, let's get going. First up, Ari and the Secret of Seasons. I think the RE series was fine. The game itself was a little janky, but it wasn't janky enough to lead to anything too comical. I think it's kind of your smack dab middle of the road series. I think is a good one that we start with. It was fun overall, but nothing too memorable about it. And I think that partly is just the game and partly was just kind of me trying to get a feel for it and trying to find time to play it and you know, sometimes sitting down for sessions that weren't quite as energetic as I wanted. That was usually the series I'd record after work where I was a little bit tired, so didn't quite have the same enthusiasm. The Medium is actually one of the better series, I think, especially lately. Of course, it was fully streamed. But I do think that we had a lot of good jokes in there. It was very entertaining. We had a lot of chat involvement, which I always think will help. I enjoyed the game quite a bit as well. Some of like the narrative riffs that we had, I think, were entertaining alongside one of my more well done series. Balan Wonderworld I have to put as a C tier. It's really interesting, right? I feel like I actually had. It's hard to say. I feel like I actually had good representation for the Balan Wonderworld series. I was funny. You know, we got some banter going on, but the game was like actually so boring that I think it hurt it a lot with us trying to stay fresh. The game was so repetitive and so mind-boggling that we kind of kept reiterating the same things over and over, and it got a little bit stale. So I'm gonna put it down in the C tier. Dark Souls, unfortunately, we had so many technical issues that never got finished. I'm gonna put it in the D tier just because it didn't get that far. We only got like 7 episodes in. Apologies. I do think overall it was fine, but just because it never got finished, it's kind of that bland series. Darksiders 3 gonna be my first S tier. It's kind of the reason I continued doing what I was doing at the time. I felt like I really had a lot of forethought put into recording, if you will. I'd always come to recording it. Usually that was my early morning record, where anything else at the time would be that late night kind of recording. But I felt like I came to it with always like a positive, fresh, open outlook, and it really opened me up to be able to speak and talk and have a good time. So really like Darksiders 3. I'm also going to put Dicey up there. Dicey is one of my most watched series. It was probably my longest running series out of anything. Well into the 60 plus episodes we had. Fantastic game. Really enjoyed it. We did actually take a hiatus in the middle, which I think is kind of funny. And then we switched to the new format where we continued playing. A lot of people were happy when we finally came back to the series. Overall, I just think like it was one of those that you didn't have to explain a whole lot. It was just like, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this is our attack pattern, and you could kind of banter a lot in between and start talking about random stuff, and I think we got a lot of that going on in Dicey, and it worked out really well for us. Going Under I'm gonna put as an A tier. Yeah, I think Going Under I'm gonna put as an A tier. I'd put it kind of on par with the Medium. Went pretty quick. My time with it was not all that long, but I had a good time. I think that there was actually a good level of humorous frustration, we'll say, where I was able to kind of go ahead and die a lot and not be actually salty, but people would be like, haha, you're bad. There's a lot of that. We played a little bit of it on stream. People seem to be fairly engaged. We did end up completing and finishing the game, which is actually something I didn't think we were going to do from the beginning. So I was very happy that I enjoyed it enough personally to get through it to the end. I think it was a good series. Hades, I also kind of think is in that same tier. I really enjoyed recording Hades. It was a brand new game, so there was a lot of hype around it. I feel like we got a lot of interesting learning aspects because I knew nothing going into it about what the game was other than like I've seen snippets. So the ability to learn and grow with you guys as we recorded, I thought was really strong. It was unfortunately like kind of one of those games where I had to pay too much attention and couldn't really get a whole lot of jokes going. So not like the perfect series, but overall I thought it was pretty good. Kingdoms of Amalur, I'm gonna put in the B tier. I just think the game didn't hit well enough with the audience, with you guys. It was something I definitely am glad that I recorded and got to play on the channel. However, I don't think that it was perfect. It wasn't a great fit, we'll say. I don't know. There was just something about it that it seemed like a lot of people were curious as to what it was and had never seen the game before, which makes sense. There's a lot of talk around it about how it's narratively slightly awkward, but combat is very good, which I mean, obviously is the strong points and the weak points of the game. But I felt like a lot of it being like you're rushing through the story, do some of the side stuff. We still got, 40 episodes out of it. It was one of those things that I almost wanted to end because people were almost too backseaty about it. I don't know. It was very awkward, but I'm very glad we recorded it nonetheless. Kirby Star Allies, I think we're actually going to put as a B tier. The game was extremely short. It wasn't the most fun thing I've ever played, obviously. I think a lot of people know that. But it did get a decent amount of viewer retention, and people seemed interested in the series, despite the fact that the game was not all that good. And because it wasn't anything special, we did get a little bit of banter in there, so I think it was pretty good overall. Luck Be a Landlord is probably an A tier series. It's actually probably a B tier series. It was only like six episodes long, maybe. We tried some different things with it. It was kind of just like a palette refresh series more than anything, although I think people kind of latched on and wanted more of it. It's not one of those things that you can play and play and play and play and holds the same value with every episode, so it was kind of hard to keep going because we've kind of already seen everything it had to offer. But people resonated well with it, so I actually think it maybe did benefit the series a little bit more than I noticed. Look, I'm gonna put the Madden 21 series in the bottom tier. I do think it's one of the worst series I've had for a couple of reasons. My audience is not a huge sports fan. Sports ball, haha. Is kind of how we react to a lot of that kind of stuff. Also, the fact that I was playing the Giants, if you don't know the Giants, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you. It was a lot of football talk, not a lot of banter. I think it was still fun for me to play, but maybe not the best fit for the channel. And overall, it's just kind of how it ironed out. Probably a top 2 series, probably a top 1 series, honestly, on the channel is Nexomon Extinction. The game blew up. Everyone really enjoyed it. We were all having a good time. Probably my personal favorite series that I've ever done. I thought that there was banter, excitement, narrative. It was a good game. We all had a good time. Everyone wanted more of it, wanted me to do DLC if it ever comes back, which I for sure will do. I'm even thinking about actually incorporating the first game into my recording schedule so that we can just have some episodes go up because people loved it and resonated with Nexomon so much that it's something I'm really looking forward to doing more with. It's truly like one of the best series. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely recommend go ahead and checking that out. Orcs Must Die, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in the C tier. I think Orcs Must Die 1 when we recorded it was fine. There was nothing, overwhelmingly great about it, but it was definitely like a passable series. Something that I was still kind of experimenting with at the time was like multiple series going on at once, multiple games being played. And Orcs Must Die 3 was actually what I was supposed to be playing, but because it was on Stadia and the connection was just like literally so bad, we had to pivot to the first one. So that definitely like kind of hurt it. And it was just kind of an awkward formative time of the channel where we were trying to figure out how to balance everything and what we were doing. So I think there was just a little bit of hesitation and opening up in those series. Pajama Sam, another D tier, or C tier. Nothing literally wrong actually at all about it. I think that it was fine for what it was. I just think that the real issue that it had was that the game was 3 episodes, and that was pretty much all we actually got out of it because that's as long as it is. And it was just like, again, a palate cleanser similar to Luck Be a Landlord. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with it. It just wasn't special or fun. Even, you know, a lot of people had never seen the game, so it maybe got some new eyes on it. But overall, I don't think anyone was like blown away by it. Bro, I think the Poglock is like, I'm going to put it in the C tier. The first 2/3 of it was totally fine. We had a good time. I would probably say it was like A, B, borderline quality. But then at the end, people were so tired of it. It dragged on for so long. There was so much freaking dialogue in Pokemon Diamond that like everyone was just wanting it to be over. We were tired of seeing it. So we just started speeding up through the game. It's just so slow and so grindy. That it to the end of the game, it just got not fun to record and not fun for people to watch either. So I think it definitely hurt the series overall in the end. That being said, a Pokemon series that I think did do pretty well was Leaf Green. Probably not going to crack those top 3 at the top. In fact, it's going to be hard for any of these 4 down here to do that as well. But Leaf Green definitely had a very nice ending. You know, we had 20 episodes. Which I think is just the right amount for a Pokemon game. It doesn't quite overstay its welcome, but definitely gets through everything in a composite fashion, we'll say. We had a good team of characters Pokemon I've never used, and people seem to really latch on and enjoy what we had. So I think overall we had a good time. Repentance, kind of a weird series. I'm gonna put it in B. People seem to enjoy it. We knew we weren't gonna play it for very long. I think people kind of got their eyes on Isaac that they'd never seen. It was just a little bit of something I wanted to try out and trying to play. People did ask for more of it, but it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, obviously, so it's not something that's going to stick around too much on the channel. But I do think overall we had a good time with it. Titan Souls, also probably a B tier. I think we had a good time streaming it for sure. It was something new. It was only like 2 or 3 episodes overall, but I think it was one of those that I would revisit, try and do like some flawless runs and stuff like that, or like single arrow runs. I had a really good time playing it. The ending I did find a little bit frustrating, just in myself. I'd been playing for so long at that point that I just kind of wanted the game to end, and there was like a long sequence at the end that we just couldn't perfect. So I think that might have dragged it down a little bit, but overall I think it was a pretty good series. Uncharted 2, this one's tricky, right? Like, I think I'm gonna put it in the B tier. I think if you went back and watched Uncharted 2 now, you wouldn't have any gripes about it. It just wouldn't be your most favorite thing. It's a game I had never played before. So I always think that initially makes it way better and more entertaining. Just to see someone's like raw impressions on something. However, the game itself is old. Everyone's seen it. It's not like this, brand new content to get your eyes on. So it's just a little something that I wanted to play, and this was kind of the perfect fit for it, but overall wasn't perfect. The Last of Us Part 2, I left at the end because I don't know if it's going to be an A or an S tier. I think I'm going to actually let it crack that top 4. It's definitely one of the games I've had the most fun with. People really, really liked it. It was very divisive for more than one reason, obviously. And if you watched it, you know what a lot of the dialogue was. I knew nothing going into it. It was all brand new to me. I really, really enjoyed what we played of it. I know not everyone did. But at the end of the day, it's one of those series that I think back about, what did I do well? And those top 4 are the ones that come to mind when I'm like, man, I really enjoyed that. I want to recapsulate all of what we did in those 4 series and then bring them back. So good time overall. Let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite series that I've ever done? If you've watched a lot of the content, what did you enjoy the most? What was your least favorite series? What do you think I need to work on? Let me know. A bit of a quicker tier list we had this week. I'm obviously on vacation right now when you're watching this. I will be back Sunday. We'll get some more stuff going. I'll probably get a stream up, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys next time.